For nearly 80 years, the world lived under a shared illusion. We called it the rules-based international order. It was a set of promises that sovereignty was sacred, that trade was a bridge to peace, and that international law protected the small from the strong. But that bridge didn't collapse overnight. It was dismantled, piece by piece, over 19 years, manifested by 3 men and a global confession. In this video, we trace the timeline of a dying system, from a defiant speech in Munich to a cynical paradox in Davos, and finally to the Donroe Doctrine of 2026. This is the autopsy of the global order. This is the world without rules. February 2007, Munich. Vladimir Putin steps to the podium and discards excessive diplomatic politeness. He declares the unipolar world, ruled by one master, not only unacceptable, but morally bankrupt. It was a provocation. January 2017, Davos. Xi Jinping stands as the unlikely protector of globalization. He warns that trade wars have no winners, comparing protectionism to locking oneself in a dark room. It was a paradox. January 20th, 2026, Davos. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney shatters the illusion. "Stop saying the rules-based order still works," he declares. "Call it what it is, a system of great power rivalry where integration is a tool of coercion." In 19 years, the world moved from critique to pretense and finally to a brutal diagnosis. Welcome to a world without rules. Putin's 2007 speech was the turning point. He argued that the US-led model was flawed, lacking a moral foundation for modern civilization. He pointed to unilateral military actions as the cause of human tragedies. At the time, the West saw it as a temper tantrum, but Putin had opened a dangerous door, the possibility that a great power could openly reject the global order and pay no price for it. He told us what was wrong, but he never told us what was right. He simply waited for the cracks to widen. 10 years later, the irony was thick. An authoritarian leader became the champion of free trade, while the West turned inward. But Xi's globalization wasn't the West's. He didn't reject the rules, he sought the power to reinterpret them. His vision prioritized absolute state sovereignty and national identity over multiculturalism. This was the first stage of the no-rules world, where you follow the rules only if you are the one who gets to define what they mean. By 2026, the pretense died. Mark Carney's speech was a funeral oration for the post-war era. He admitted the rules-based order was always a useful fiction. It provided public goods, stable finance, open seas, as long as American hegemony was unchallenged. But now, integration has been weaponized. Tariffs are leverage, supply chains are vulnerabilities. Carney's message to middle powers like Canada and South Korea was clear. If you are not at the table, you are on the menu. The era of performing sovereignty while accepting subordination is over. Enter the catalyst, Donald Trump. His 2026 Donroe Doctrine, a play on the Monroe Doctrine, takes the mask off completely. Trump doesn't bother reinterpreting rules or justifying them, he simply ignores them. From sanctioning ICC judges to introducing the Greenland Annexation and Statehood Act, the administration operates on a single principle: might is right. When Trump says, "I have to have it," there is no legal defense, only the Donroe reality. American dominance in its backyard is absolute. In pop culture, a world without rules is either Neo's freedom or the Joker's chaos. In 2026, it is both. Putin exposed the lie, Xi exploited the pretense, Trump legalized the force, and Carney named the reality. 19 years ago, we began a journey into the unknown. The question is no longer when will the rules return, but how do we survive in a world that no longer pretends they exist?
If you want to know more information, email me at yokyungjin@gmail.com.